The new Ghoul update has brought so many different and vast changes to the Wasteland of Fallout 76, one of the biggest being the fact that the legendary effect meta for both weapons and armor has changed dramatically for all Ghoul players. Let me slow down and backtrack a little bit. If you've been living under a rock for the last 3 or 4 months, then you probably would have missed the fact that you can now play as a Ghoul in Fallout 76, which is huge. And this, of course, has come with some gigantic changes. You may now notice that Ghouls cannot participate in bloodied builds, meaning unyielding is completely off the table due to how radiation affects Ghouls completely differently. Also, Ghouls don't have to eat, so you can't use the overeaters, which was a second choice for a lot of players. So you're probably wondering what effects you should use now for your Ghoul characters. Don't worry, the answer is extremely simple and straightforward, and we've got it in this video right now. If you've been around the Wasteland for a while, then you know that there's obviously one clear winner for that number 1 star legendary effect, and it has to be the Vanguard legendary effect. Now, I'll explain why. Ghoul characters are meant to be at full health pretty much all of the time because of the new glow mechanic that was added to the Ghouls. The more radiation you accumulate, the more glow you get, which means more potential damage if you have the right perk cards on. So the clear, obvious winner has to be Vanguards because you want your health and glow meter, aka your second health bar, to be constantly full so you could do more damage, you could get more survivability, you could run faster. There are so many benefits to having your glow meter filled, which you could only achieve with a full health bar, so you're constantly going to want your health to be filled. So you're going to get the constant benefit from Vanguards. Now, what does Vanguard do exactly? Vanguard grants the user up to 35 energy resistance and 35 damage resistance the higher your health. So if you play the Ghoul as intended with a full health bar, you'll get a 35 extra protection on each piece of armor for energy and damage. Now, this is extremely important, again, because you're going to want to have your health bar constantly filled, just like if you were running a bloody build, you want your health bar constantly below that 20% so you could get the maximum amount of damage or protection. Vanguard is no different, it's just the complete opposite and keeping your health up. And you'll notice it doesn't affect radiation resistance, which is extremely important because, again, to stay glowing, you'll want as many rads as possible. So you want a piece of armor and a suit of armor that is going to limit the amount of, or to increase the amount of rads that you have and limit the amount of rad resistance that you have. Lower rad resistance, the better. This does not give you any higher rad resistance, so you will not be capping how fast you could get your glow bar to fill back up if you are taking damage. On top of that, once you do get the Vanguard plan, it's stupidly easy to craft for as strong as it is. All you need is 15 legendary modules and 5 blood packs. So for a full set of Vanguard armor, once you get the plan, all you'll need is 75 modules, which is extremely easy to get if you just jump through quests or do expeditions, and 25 blood packs, which, again, is stupidly easy to get if you just farm the doctor that's on the Nuka World at Tor Center over there on the left of the map. So it's extremely easy and extremely cheap compared to rolling a full set. So if you have a friend that has one of these or something like that, just give them over the caps to craft you a full plan of Vanguard, and you'll be ready to go. Now, speaking of rolling a full set of Vanguard armor, there are a few ways to obtain the Vanguard legendary armor effect, so let's go into the main 3 ways of getting this bad boy. First up, I want to talk about rolling. Like I mentioned, you could apply random 1-star legendary effects to armors at any armor workbench. You'll just need to constantly craft a new piece of armor if you don't get it, since the current rolls on the armor can't be re-rolled, just replaced with legendary box mods if you have them. So keep that in mind if you want to keep rolling random armor with Vanguards from a random 1-star effect. You do constantly have to craft the new armor pieces if you don't get the Vanguards, unfortunately. Now, speaking of legendary mod boxes, like I just said, you have a chance to obtain either a legendary mod box or the crafting plans for the Vanguard legendary effect from scrapping any piece of armor that has this effect. It's a super low chance, 1% for the plan and then 1.5% for the box mod. So you'll have to scrap a lot unless you get lucky, but it is worth it by like 110%. It's probably the best way to have Vanguards in the long run and everything like that. So if you have legendary box mod or the plan or anything like that, you could just throw it on instantly, and scrapping is the best way to unfortunately get this mod as the way it stands now. The final way to obtain the legendary box mod for the Vanguard effect is by trading. You could either be gifted a few mod boxes, or you could purchase them from a player vendor or a player by themselves. Some people charge ridiculously high prices for these much wanted legendary mods, so be careful not to get ripped off, and just be warned that if a player puts an effect on a piece of armor through the legendary mod boxes, you will not be able to drop that piece of armor. It will be destroyed. The only way to trade these legendary mods are through the legendary mod boxes themselves, not with the pieces that they put the or not with the pieces of armor that they put the legendary mod box on. If you do that, you will just waste the legendary mod box and you cannot drop it. Unfortunately, you can't drop the piece of armor. It's just either you get it from rolling, from scrapping, or from trading. That is it. You can't put it on a piece of armor and drop it. It has to be the box mod itself. I suggest scrapping every single piece of armor that has the Vanguard effect that you come across. You'll just have to scrap like 100 of them to get the plans, basically, if you're feeling lucky, you know what I mean? It's worth the gamble, so go out there. If you have a bunch of legendary script, go out and buy the armors when they have the sale and everything like that to improve your chances of getting it, obviously. I'll have a video out on that whenever they have the sale, the legendary purveyor sale again. But those are the three main ways. And again, if you put it on a piece of armor, you cannot drop that piece of armor. Just be forewarned. The main topic I wanted to cover in this video was the 1-star effects that you should grind after, but I did want to quickly touch on the 2-star and 3-star legendary effects that you should be going after for your Ghoul character. Also, for the 2-star effects, the only effects you should care about are the special boosting effects, because you'll lose all your special stat boosting that you get from your old unyielding armor, because again, you have to be at full health, so you should try to recoup as many extra special points as you can. Personally, I like to go for strength or intelligence, depending on if I am trying to do bossing or if I'm farming West Deck for XP, but any stat boosting effect is golden. Really just depends on what you want more of out of your build. However, if you don't care about that, and if you've never cared about getting extra special points, you can just go for AP regen, which again is a completely valid option if you don't care about intelligence. You just throw on the 2-star legendary, or the 2-star effect that makes your AP regen faster, and boom, you're all golden. Again, it depends on your playstyle, and it depends on what you want to go for. Personally, I suggest you should always put like intelligence or something like that on your weapon. But if you're running a full VATS build that requires you to constantly have full VATS or always use your VATS, AP regen, wouldn't be the worst idea in the entire world. And now for the 3-star legendary effects, you could throw literally whatever to help your current situation. I run a melee build, so I tend to throw on the Electrified 3-star just to help with melee attackers, but to each their own. I also like to throw on the ammo weight reduction one, or Thru-Hikers if I don't want to use a perk point. It really just depends on whatever I need. If I need extra help managing my weight, or if I need some extra damage resistance, or if I need some extra survivability, it really doesn't matter. I'd throw in Electrified if you're running a melee build. It's not the worst thing. Or some people just always suggest that you keep that as a weight reduction perk, like Thru-Hikers, or if you run a build that requires ammo, the ammo weight reduction effect also is really nice too, so you don't have to use your skill points for it, or you could really just negate all ammo weight. It is really nice, but again, to each their own. It doesn't matter. Just look through the full list and go from there. 2-star effect, I suggest you throw on the intelligence or strength or AP regen, something like that will actually help you. And then the 3-star, I would suggest just throwing on like a weight reduction perk or effect just to help you out a little bit managing your weight, which is something that all Fallout 76 players have to worry with 24/7 because Bethesda didn't want to give us infinite stash weight, which I guess I understand. Not really. Fuck you, Todd. Well, there we have it, ladies and gents of the Wasteland. We've made it to the end of another Fallout 76 video. I hope you found it useful and insightful. Let me know what effects you'll be going for in the Wasteland on your Ghoul character. Like I said, 1-star, I would always go with Vanguard just because you have to be at full health. 2-star, you could either be Strength, AP regen, or just some special stat boosting effect. It really just depends on what you prefer. I like Intelligence or Strength, but on my Gunslinger, I definitely go with AP regen. Again, it really depends on what type of build you play. And 3-star, you could do anything you want, either a little weight reduction effect like Thru-Hikers or something like Electrified for a little extra survivability. And as always, I appreciate you motherfuckers for watching this motherfucking video, and I will see you out there in the Wasteland as always.